There was a 28-year-old young man, Suryakant, under a peepal tree at that time. He was very focused in some preparations. His mobile's torch was lit, and he had stuck it under a tree with a stone. In the light of the torch, he himself was taking out some material from a bag and collecting it under the tree. In a short while, he had taken out all his belongings on the ground. A bottle of liquor, a smelly perfume, black clothes, smoke, lamps, flour, coal, oil, 2 lemons which had been colored in red, a black hen, a match, and an iron knife. Suryakant took off all his clothes and entered the naked state. Suryakant came to his senses. Then he began to make a round circle. First he made a circle of flour, then a circle of coal. After making all 3 circles, he sat inside the circle. The sound of dogs crying had stopped. However, the sound of jingles came in between. Some fireflies were hovering on the tree. It seemed as if someone had put a bulb on the tree. The owl. But Suryakant was unaware of all this. He was doing it with all his talent. That's why he came here. Suryakant was very carefully spraying the perfume he brought with him in all 4 directions. Then he rubbed the remaining perfume on his body. At that time a little wind was blowing. That's why he was having trouble lighting the lamp. But after 3 or 4 unsuccessful attempts, he lit the lamp before the matchbox, and then the smoke. His smoke started spreading there immediately. Then he carefully looked at the iron knife. His heart started throbbing. After a few moments, the sound of thunder and lightning again silenced the silence. And again, the same silence spread there. Then he would have gone back to his home. But when he finished his sadhana today, there was only one thing going on in his mind. Nothing is happening. There is no use of all this. Everything is wrong. It's been a week, but I haven't experienced anything yet. I won't come for sadhana from tomorrow. Suryakant's patience was giving the answer. And the first reason for this was that the hope with which he had started sadhana had already started. Monaco IKOW people EPOL inconceivable incongruent concurrent in congregation reconvey. Or called Logan Lagos O Logan Latero the Argon that bid him was given a scarred, red color. The long wait for the darshan of Kanta was taken away by the Wikas. And even a week later, his hands were empty. He was still angry. The next day, he left for the darshan of Kanta, but he didn't realize now. A big problem struck him. In the middle of the night, he thought that someone was throwing him in the air. And he fell down. When he looked around, he didn't see anyone. The night passed by 3 times. He couldn't understand what was happening to him. He slept in fear at night. When he woke up in the morning, he screamed. He had no clothes on his body. The entire body of the man is covered in blood. The blood is oozing out of his body. The flies are also laying eggs on his wounds. He pushes the flies away from one side, and the flies sit on the other side. The blood oozing out of his body slowly gathers on the ground. The flies that lay eggs on his wounds. I didn't know how to find the words in these translations, so they'll probably give you a lot of people's thoughts on different versions of the video. And I'll do my best to translate the English translation as well, so please do take a look at the English subtitles. By the way, I have a lot of English subtitles for you guys as well, so if you want to search, that's all for today's video. I hope you liked my English subtitles. This is my last video. If you'd like to watch more videos from me, please do send me a message or call me by. There were not a single fly in the sky. He had the same experience the next day as well. But this time was much worse. There was one particular night. Ah, the blood is spilled. Its sheet has been soaked with that blood. When he screams in pain and terror, he sees everything around him as normal. So many supernatural incidents. It drove him mad. There was a day when he was sad and sat in the room, gazing at the fan. Then, he remembered something. The son has felt guilty. That night, he went back to the crematorium to meditate. Nothing had happened over 2 days. But, from the 3rd day on, he felt, I'm going to open my eyes. I'm going to meditate for a few days. One night, she couldn't understand that she was not hearing a woman's voice. She said, "Why are you doing all this? I will kill you. Go away. Get out of here if you don't know what you are doing, and why you are doing that I'll kill you." Suryakant starts shivering of fear, and he doesn't open his eyes, or a mantra JAV Karata RAHA Agal Din Se To USSE Woawazi or Bitej Sunai Dine Lagi Use Isa Bilagda Ki Ek Soft Pal Ki Awazi AAA Rahi Hai To Kabi Chodi HOKI or Use Bi Isas HOTA Ki USKI Pith Parko APNE. Nakan Sekhar Yuk Rha Hai Kuch Mahin Bad Apne Buddi Se Bungalai Main Batha Surya Kan Shun Mi Tak Jahrha. The USKE Hoff main cigarette tea. He would put a chain around it in between. Then he would get lost. I have got everything I wanted. That's what I wanted. But still, how come I feel so restless? It feels like I have so much in my pockets, but I am still empty. Something like what I felt a few months ago. The writer of this story is Vijendra Kumar Karan. Why are you doing all this? I'll kill you. Go away. Go away from here right now. You don't know what you are doing. I have got everything. This is what I wanted. But still, why am I so restless? Why do I feel like I'm empty even though I'm loaded? Just like I was a few months ago. A few days ago, Suryakant saw a book kept in the oldest library in the city. The picture on the front page of the book cast a spell on him. He started reading the book with total silence. He started reading from 10 a.m. The book went on till 9 p.m. Suryakant was reading each and every line in the book. He was getting more and more attracted to the book. It was 9 o'clock in the night. That's why 2 or 3 more people were in the library at that time. The librarian was repeatedly checking the old clock ticking in the library. Once he could, he would open up the clock hands and clock for 9:30, because the library closes at 9:30. The librarian's house was very far from here, and he wanted to reach home as soon as possible, because today was his wedding anniversary. Suryakant was lost in the book. Then his mobile phone rang. He looked at the phone. It said Nagpal calling. He was looking at the phone and was thinking whether to pick up the phone or not. In the meantime, everyone in the library started staring at him. The librarian was already in a bad mood. He also looked at Suryakant angrily. He looked at the phone, and in a blink of an eye, he pointed to the board in the library, in which it was written, "Should I switch off the mobile phone in the library or keep it in silent mode?" Suryakant said sorry to him in his eyes, and came out of the library with the phone. As soon as he received the phone, Nagpal said to Suryakant, "Asshole. Why did you take so long to pick up the call? It was in the library, brother. Brother went to get oil. Tell me, where are you giving me the money? Give me some more time, brother. I'll pay you back soon. I'll pay you back. I am fed up of hearing the word opportunity. You spend all your money on interest. Now you have been talking about opportunity for the past 3 months. Listen to me carefully. My name is Nagpal. I know how to give money. So I also know how to take out money by shaking hands. Give me some more time, brother. You won't have to do this." Suryakant started whining on the phone. Nagpal gave him 1 more month's time. But he also threatened him. If he doesn't return the money after a month, he will put poison on him. Suryakant had no idea about Nagpal's cruelty. For the last 3 months, he was going through a strange mental trauma. For a moment, he wanted to run away. But how could he run away from Natasha? Natasha was Suryakant's girlfriend, and he loved her more than his life. Nagpal knew this. That's why his men were always watching Natasha. Suryakant used to work as a waiter in the biggest hotel in the city. Every day, hundreds of rich people used to come to that hotel and spend their time. He was very impressed with the lifestyle of those rich people. The dreams of their long and big cars had settled in his eyes. The dreams of their long and big cars had settled in his eyes. He also wanted to be rich like them. 6 months ago, his desire to become rich brought him to the biggest gambling den in the city. That day, Suryakant's luck was also strong. That's why all the cards on the gambling den were coming in his favor. With the money in his pocket, he earned 4 times and returned home. With that money, he bought Natasha an expensive gift for the first time. Oh my God. I love you. I love you too. I love you too. He dissipated his patience. He quit his job. He never told Natasha about that. He merely said that he is doing some business he was conceited about. On one hand, that Tasha's part as his slave, he would win every game, but to win every game was not possible once the series of losses started. After that, he would everywhere, so he lost all his savings. Then he took a loan and started gambling. At first, he borrowed some money. Slowly, this amount reached 5 lakhs. And for that amount to grow, Nagpal was threatening him again and again. After talking to Nagpal, he went inside the Suryakant library. He was still sweating. But somehow, a smile was still on his face. A few days back, in that book he was in, he thought that book would solve all his troubles. So he issued that book. He studied that book all night. And he decided that he will perform the ritual written in that book. He used to go to big parties. He used to drink expensive liquor. However, in these parties, if a woman tried to come near Suryakant, then that woman would find him dead after a few moments. Suryakant would find all this very strange. Then he would remember the last night of Shamsam sadhana. It was the 41st day of his sadhana when Akshini appeared in front of him. When she came, there was so much light. Suryakant's eyes widened. Even then, he did not open his eyes. Akshini said to him, "Suryakant, I have come. End your meditation." When Suryakant opened his eyes, he could not help but look at the woman standing in front of him. Such a beautiful woman. He had not seen her anywhere, nor had he heard of such a woman from anyone. "Suryakant, there is no need to stare at her so much. There is no need. I will always be with you. You will have to keep me like your wife without getting married. You will give me all the happiness that a husband gives to his wife. You will have to eat raw meat and alcohol with me every night. In return, I will give you the most precious thing in the world. And yes, do not let any other woman come close to you even in your dreams. Otherwise, I will kill her." ONGI Suryakant was so happy at that time that he couldn't understand what Akshini was saying to him. He was just staring at her and nodding his head in agreement. Suryakant's world had changed. Akshini was giving him happiness as per his wish. In return, Suryakant also had to do everything with Akshini that she wanted. But they say, it is human nature that when he does not have something, he becomes worried about it. But as soon as he gets that thing, his value decreases. Suryakant had everything, but he was alone. He wanted to build his own house. He could not get married to Akshini. She could not replace his wife. He lived a luxurious life for 7-8 months. 1. And he liked Akshini's company. But now he didn't like these things. He was bored of all this. He suddenly remembered Natasha. Although Natasha had come to meet him in the middle. But he was so immersed in himself at that time that he ignored her. Natasha thought that after getting the money, the sun has changed. But now he was not able to live without Natasha. His smiling face was spinning in front of him. Natasha's soft hands used to soothe her cheeks, and she used to forget all the tensions of the world. Sitting at the tea stall with her, riding a bike at full speed, standing at the roadside and eating Golgappa together and forgetting the whole world. All her old memories started troubling her. One day, she was getting ready to go to meet Natasha at her house. Then Akshini blocked her way and expressed her desire to love him. But Suryakant's mind was completely filled with Akshini. He folded his hands in front of her and said, "Forgive me. I can't serve you anymore. I want my normal life back." Suryakant had forgotten that Akshini had not come to his door. He had called her. He even forgot what was written on that book. That Akshini can be proved, but she can't be driven away. and Akshini's refusal means the beginning of destruction. Suryakant was about to leave home when his mobile phone rang. Someone told him that his factory has caught fire. Everything is burnt to ashes. Suryakant ran towards his factory. But there was only ash left. He understood that whether it is there or not, it is the result of the refusal of all the acts. But now he did not want that factory. He just wanted Natasha. He reached Natasha's house. For a long time, he knocked on her door. But no one opened the door. Hola. He saw the lock hanging from the door. Oh, the lock is here. Natasha must have gone outside. He was about to return. And then the door lock opened itself. He went inside the room. As soon as he entered the room, he started screaming. He saw Natasha hanging from a fan. Her eyes were pointing out. And his neck is twisted once again. His tongue is pointing outwards. And in that very room, Akshini is staring at Natasha with her big eyes. Suryakant took the help of a shortcut to move ahead and to progress. But in the end, his hands were left empty. Friends, who doesn't like progress? Who doesn't want all the comforts of the world to be at his feet? But for that, before trying a shortcut like Suryakant, you have to understand that you will have to pay a very high price for it. The author of this story is Vijendra Kumar Karn. Suryakant was broken. Suryakant was shattered. He was unable to accept the truth that he has lost the most precious and beautiful girl in the world, his lover Natasha, forever. He kept staring at her dead body for hours. You come back, Natasha. Please. Please come back. What will I do without you? Natasha, I swear on you. Please come back. I made a mistake. But who punishes a mistake like this? Natasha, please. Please come back. I want to ride a full-speed bike with you. I want to sit in my bike and break all the traffic signals and listen to your sweet scolding. Nathansa, please come. I don't want anything. I don't want anything. I want you. Only you. The one who tries to deny the biggest truth of life is a fool. Death is an eternal truth. And after death, it is impossible to hope for the return of death. Suryakant, being emotional, was hoping for something like this. He did the last rites of Natasha. But he was not able to come out of Natasha's memories. This is after the 4th day of Natasha's death. Suryakant sat alone on the sofa, lost in his memories. That's when it started raining. He got up and went near the window and started watching the rain. As the drops of rain touched the ground, Suryakant used to go to the streets of memories where he couldn't go even if he wanted to the streets of memories where his bike broke down because of the rain. Suryakant, if your bike hadn't broken down because of the rain, we wouldn't have known that we get such good Golgappas here. By the way, this is what you think about Golgappas everywhere, isn't it, Natasha? Natasha? India Gate, Palika Bazaar, Delhi Heart, Passion Bihar. Why? Am I right, darling? You're pulling my leg, aren't you? Fine, go ahead and pull my leg. But yes, I love Golgappa. Hey, first eat it and then talk. TCH, look at you. You spilled Golgappa's water on yourself. Wait, I'll clean it with a handkerchief. You're just like my dad. He was just like that too. A little too sweet and caring. I'm not sweet at all. Huh? I care for you. Love is sweet, Suryakant. I don't know, darling. Love is not sweet for me. Then what is it? For me, love is tamarind sauce, Natasha. Tamarind sauce? How could that be? Really? You close your eyes and think about the tamarind chutney. Then I'll tell you. What is this now? Just think about it. Okay, fine. Oh, my mouth is full of water. I'm even starting to taste the sourness. Yes, my love. This is love. Love is like tamarind chutney. Just by thinking about it, your mind is filled with a taste. And you want to live in that taste. Yes, Suryakant. This is what happens when I think about you. And when I think about you, my love. With the thunder of lightning, Suryakant Yadav's sweet memories brought the news of the truth to the streets, where it was very difficult for him to walk. Although he was walking, but his feet were bleeding. Why did I do this? Kyoo. Lekin apki karam apka picha tab tak nichodake jab taka apki sans apko bandin moktana kar dt or aap osman hanayatra par ninaikal jat jahan se koilata nai suryakan ki ankhan main ansuhan apna garbanalia the or dukan kuchakabian main wo isa fasa the jahan se wo jah kar bininaikal bahar the what is this shit? Akshini was still bothering him because he wasn't giving Akshini love. It's a matter of one night for watching. Then a shadow was moving towards her. It was none other than Akshini. She tried to wake her up. Suryakant, wake up, Suryakant. Wake up. But Suryakant did not wake up. Blood came down from Akshini's eyes. Her eyes turned red like burning coal. She picked up Suryakant and put him on the ground. Then she closed her eyes and chanted a mantra. In just a few moments, he had a bunch of iron nails and a hammer in his hand. Lakshmi started hammering the nails into Suryakant's fingers. On one side, there was a thud, 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 thud sound. On the other side, blood was spilling out of his hands. And the blood started spilling on the ground. Suryakant woke up screaming in his deep sleep. As soon as he woke up, he looked at his fingers. Cabrio. Would you be our guru? I need to miss up. Armos, Maria, he's got the. We'll see if Nick on bunker. But that voice was getting louder and louder. Its intensity was increasing. She had a mouth, and her head was straight, and she had a mouth too. Not only that, Natasha's body started shaking. She opened her eyes, and her eyes looked towards Suryakant. Suryakant. Please save me. I have to live with you, Suryakant. I want to marry you. I have to fight. You're listening to what I'm saying, aren't you? Please save me. I want to free you from this rope. I want to hug you. Suryakant. Suryakant was quiet and listening to the voice. He emergently felt that his Natasha has returned. He ran away and tied his body to the chain. Natasha hugged him, kissed him, and said, Serkant, run away from here. Then Natasha asked her to hold his hand. Serkant maintained his hand to hold his hand. The world. He couldn't hold her hand even though he wanted to. He tried to hug her, but her hand crossed his body. I can't touch you. I can't hold your hand, Natasha. Please, hold my hand. But Natasha didn't answer him. Once again, Akshini's eerie laughter echoed inside his room. Natasha's body disappeared. Suryakant started screaming like a madman. She choked while screaming. She was craving for a moment. He stood up and walked to the fridge, opening the fridge door. He took out the water bottle. Then he saw the Akshini in the fridge. Love me, saying that love me. Should he love her, love me, or just watch and get scared? The water bottle fell from Suryakant's hands and broke. He closed the fridge and went far and sat on the sofa. But as soon as he sat, the door of the fridge opened on its own and the voice of Akshini started coming from it. Suryakant was fed up. He stood up and started running out of the house. He kept running all night. And while he was running, he fell unconscious on the road outside the cremation ground, where he had performed the yajna. When he woke up, he saw that he was lying on the side of the road. Many cars are passing by him. Many people are also passing by that road. But no one is looking at him. Until tomorrow, the richest man in this city, Suryakant. Today, Lawari was lying on the road like a piece of junk. But no one had the time to stop even for a minute. Yes, a dog was definitely lying next to him without thinking that Suryakant is the richest man in the city. Suryakant wanted to get rid of Akshini, but he didn't know what to do. After that day, he started living on the road like a beggar. If someone gave him something to eat, he would eat it. Otherwise, he would lie hungry and thirsty on the road. He was very scared to return home. A few days later, when he was sitting quietly on the roadside like this for a day, then he remembered that the book from which he had read about Yakshini sadhana, there must be a way to free Yakshini from that book. But where was that book? He couldn't remember, because he hadn't returned that book to the library yet. After a lot of effort, he remembered that he had taken that book to the new mansion. He also remembered that he had hidden that book in an iron box in the basement of the mansion. Suryakant didn't want to return to that mansion. He didn't want to return, but he saw a ray of hope coming from that mansion. And with courage, he once again walked towards that mansion. Will Suryakant be able to get rid of Yakshini? Can Yakshini be freed from his trap? After all, who is this Yakshini? To find out, watch the next part of this mysterious story. Writer of this story is Vijendra Kumar Karn. Okay. He was afraid that Akshini might come there. So he went to the box. There was a lock on him. He couldn't remember when he put his key in. Where have I put his key? Key? He couldn't think of anything. So he went to the lock, keeping his eyes on the lock. He picked it up and started hitting it with the hammer. The lock wasn't that strong. It broke after a few hits. Suryakant opened the box. He took out the book, and his pages started to turn. And he started getting a haze of smoke. The haze was so thick that he started to cough. This smoke, where did this smoke come from? Yakshini's voice started to echo again. Love me, Suryakant, you have called me, obey my orders. I am Anu. That's when Suryakant's eyes opened. The book fell on the countertops, and he saw it was on fire. As it was coming closer, he was about to escape with the book in his hand when the book fell. It came closer to him and it caught fire as soon as it went into the fire. Suryakant tried his best to save the book, but in that attempt, half of his face was burnt. How long was he going to live on the streets like a lunatic? After that, Suryakant once again tried to free himself from Yakshini. He went to the library again with the hope that he would get another copy of the book. But he didn't get it. On the contrary, the librarian told him to return the old book as soon as possible. Suryakant was worried, but he had no hope that he would be able to get rid of Yakshini. He went to many shrines, that there must be a yogi, a Ali Baba, a tantric Yakshini. But all the people who met him, all said that one can get rid of Yakshini only after death. Suryakant's courage was now answered. Now he understood that he can never get rid of Yakshini in this life. That's why he decided to commit suicide. Thinking this, he was going on the road. Then he saw a fast car. He decided that he will come in front of this car and kill himself. Suryakant, without caring about anything, came in front of that fast car. He came in front of the car. Okay, he said good and bad, because he wanted to die. He was very angry at Akanksha, that why didn't she run faster? Activities. He's a young just stay on the greenies of your team. Okay, as a guy he actually posted the Kia Hill give me Alibaba Siri farmhouse key rock we did city if you want to call and Jaffe no one knew. There were only 5 days left in the new moon. Keeping a stone in his heart, he was waiting for the new moon. Akanksha paid a lot of attention to him. He was attracted to Akanksha, and maybe also to Akanksha. But Suryakant didn't want to show it. Nor did he want to speak. Because if he has told this to Akanksha, he could have caused harm to Yakshini. Get the fuck out. Go away from here. Get the fuck out. Suryakant turned around and saw that there was no pyre there. Nor were there scratches on his face by his claws. Suryakant sat under a tree and started crying. He saw some light in the distance. Seeing the light in the forest, happiness shone on Suryakant's face. He felt that he has reached his destination. He ran towards the light. Siddha Ali Baba was there. He closed his eyes and sat in meditation. Suryakant fell at his feet and started crying loudly. You have made a mistake, Suryakant. A very big mistake. You have proved the Akshini. But you didn't know anything about the Akshini. That how to prove it. You read a book for your selfishness and proved it. Without knowing what this power is. The world of Tantra Mantra is very mysterious and strange. The world of Tantra Mantra is very mysterious and strange. There are many powers in the world that we can use as per our wishes. We can use these powers to bring all the weak things into our control. The old religions and traditions tell us that these forms can do impossible things to control all these powers. Yakshini sadhana kathan hibina tamsik vastuan ko prayag ka yakshini ko prasana nahi kia jaa sakta hai or agar akbar yasida ho gaito for rat o rat kismat ko kale and hear me samadhi ki chaka chand roshni jadi hai. Once a yakshini has to be performed, but that is only when one appoints her as a mother at the occasion. Once upon a time, Suryaka anticipated Yakshini to be, and I will appear before him. Resist Pasada as Resist Pasada. Once again Suryaka Yakshini efforts. Man. Suryakant once again sat under the peepal tree to do the Akshini sadhana. This time he made a circle of the Raksha mantra given by Ali Baba around himself and started the sadhana with the sacrifice of 2 black hens. But Suryakant's path was not easy because the Akshini was ready to make a mess in his sadhana. The Akshini's power is very strong. Orzo Orzachara TV. Okay. So Rick, I'll get sad. In the stenum, somehow you nothing she needs that to be 30. Yeah. I guess was the you. And before she took her own life, she made a vow of stillness. Suryakant was getting less and less strong at that moment. But then he saw Natasha's toxic body. Suryakant calmed down and started meditating to Mother Yakshini. Pramika Yakshini was very angry about this. And she climbed on the peepal tree and started staring at Suryakant. Not only that, she would sometimes jump from the tree to Suryakant. She would sometimes place small insects on his body. Those insects would start drinking the blood of Suryakant. On the 41st day, Yakshini appeared in the form of a mother. The end. Let me give you a copy. Good to move to give up. I'll say, I should bother that walk with a lot of. So, we can't do, see what there may have been. To have a pilot. What could you do a battle? His life has completely changed today. Lalaj and shortcut seg shi cheese ko pan ki cha se wa aj ko suk dor ho gaya hai. Han, uske jivan main ek bahat bada badleo or aaya hai. Wiya hayakanksha se uske shaadi. Aj dano bahat kash hai. Suryakant eni bina samj buj bayanak sadna kiti. Jiska kamyaja usse bogatna pada the. Dasto, koi bi tantrik sadna bina guru kunakir. Kas karyakshani sadna. Because Suryakant was saved. But who knows, you may not be saved. And yes friends, don't forget to subscribe.